Welcome back to another episode of Dan Factoids, in which we answer questions that divers pose and seek answers for. And this time, we're going to be talking about trabulectomy. Now, if you've never heard the word, please keep watching as we explain how this relates to diving. I'm going to start off with giving you a quick lesson in medicine. We love words like otomies, ostomies, and ectomies. An ostomy means you make a hole to the outside, an ectomy means you cut something out, and an otomy means you make a hole. Now in this episode, we are going to be talking about a trabulectomy, which means the removal of something. Now, what is it that is removed? Well, this happens to be one of the modern treatments for glaucoma, which is overpressurization of the eye, where the amount of fluid that is produced in the eye exceeds the amount of fluid that is absorbed and removed from the eye, thereby causing pressure, and the pressure ultimately leading to blindness. So glaucoma is a disease of increased pressure inside the eye with damage to the optic nerve and eventual loss of vision. Now, because of this, physicians have often voiced concerns about what diving would do because of the pressurization of the environment when diving. Now, ironically, the increased pressure of diving, if anything, would probably reduce the effects of glaucoma to some extent. But we're not going to debate that particular aspect. What we want to demonstrate here is that the treatment for glaucoma is usually in the form of either topical drops or some form of surgical procedure. Now, the drops that are used, of which timolol is one of the typical ones, is actually a beta blocker, and enough of it may be absorbed that it may affect the ability to exercise. And so it's important to know that the use of those drops don't impair exercise capability. As far as the surgical options are concerned, if it resolves the issue, and many of these procedures are nowadays done by means of laser rather than by means of scalpels, people would be able to return to diving once the condition has healed, and of course, if their ophthalmologist is happy with them diving. And if they're unfamiliar with diving, we always invite them to consult a diving physician or call Dan. One other drug that I'd like to mention is acetazolamide or Diamox. Now, this is a drug you've probably never heard about unless you've climbed Kilimanjaro or Mount Everest. This is something that is used to be used for high blood pressure, but nowadays is used to actually treat the effects of high altitude pulmonary edema. Now, if you use this in the case of glaucoma, which happens to be another reason why it might be used, there is the possibility of increased risk of oxygen-related toxicity, particularly when breathing high percentages and partial pressures of oxygen. So we would not recommend people decompressing on oxygen if they are being treated on Diamox or acetazolamide. With that being said, an ophthalmologist should be able to tell you whether or not it is safe for you to dive, and if not, then, well, your eyes are more important than diving, and you should take care of them. We hope that's answered your questions. It may not be complete, and if you have more specific questions, we'd be delighted to answer them. Thank you.